Hi, quick update on GME, and then we might just do some of the meme stocks. But if you're just interested in GME, I'll just do it quickly. So here's GameStop. I'm looking at the 30 minutes. So this is the recent bump that we saw after we saw some funny business around here on the 21st, 20th, with some very high IV in calls. We can see here in the liquidity, I've got three liquidity measures here. One which is the base liquidity, which shows us liquidity over a longer period of time. We can see that we're back to a reasonably red is selling, so we can see there's quite a lot of selling happening at the moment. We did see this strong buying, but it really was being forced. It was a gamma vol squeeze because the market has been really trapped in quite a small range for a period of time since the last OPEX. Now, if we just have a look at what that trapping looks like on the bigger scale, we use the DSPX, which is the dispersion index. If we have a look at the dispersion index relative to GME bottoms and bumps, the GME, sorry, I'm clicking the wrong one there. The GME usually bumps when we have low dispersion, and that's because that it isn't managing to disperse through the index. So we can see here when we had low dispersion, we got this really big bump, and it was from dropping from a high period. Now I think of dispersion as running, it's slowly becoming, there's less dispersion within the markets the more there is optionality. That's my thinking. I don't know if I'm right, but anyway, we can see here during this period here, which was the end of 24 after the election, we were getting lots of dispersion in the market. So although we had very low dispersion index, we didn't really get a big run on in GME because it really was being dispersed. I have a feeling we might see the same thing here, but we've definitely got the setup for a good GME bump. If we just have a look at the internals of GME here, we'll just have a quick look at the further dated options. We can see that through this period we had this very nice high IV in the 30 to 60 day options, and that's really good. That means the market makers are pushing up the price of the implied volatility in the options because they are being forced to reach for the ask and paying what the sellers want, and so to cover that they're increasing the IV costs in their options, which puts people off from buying them, and it also allows them to offset it against the spread costs. We can see at the moment we've got a rising buy signal, but it hasn't been bought out. You see this one's been bought out here. That's because we've seen the DPI rise. We haven't actually seen a rise in the DPI. If we look, this is the top of this recent bump, and it looks to me like it was sold. We don't see a big change, a big swing here. I mean, if we take out we will see that there are more out of the money call options. So green are calls, red are puts. So there are quite a few more, but yeah, look, maybe there's a big swing there. If we look at the shorter dated one, it's much more obvious. We can see in the shorter dated, we've got a really heavy group of them, and we'll just do the same thing. We'll just take out the filter there, and we can see that we've got a lot of out of the money. So I think this was quite an understood play by many players within the market, and they've benefited short term from it. All right, so that's the GME update. I'm just going to do a quick update for those who want it in the second half of this video. I'm just going to have a quick look at what I've been looking at in the markets. I'll just switch through to this other screen. And the things that I've been looking at are in the knock this one out here, that are ready to fire, and I'm looking at liquidity here. So the green buying here shows that we've got a real build here in Moblicon, or Mob, MOB, and we can see we're back in a place that it looks like it's going to light up. The other ones that are still continuing, I think this looks like it's got really heavy buying in this section. Look, some of this here, as you can tell, some of this buying here definitely is being forced by the hands of the rising price. So it is just reactive liquidity rather than causal liquidity. Another really good name here, I think, is ML or Micro Algo. Now look, as we can see, that doesn't look like there's a lot of price action in it, and there isn't yet. And look, there is quite a big difference in price going up and down in a day. Like it was -8%. It barely looks like it's registering. You really have to spread it out to be able to see it. So look, it does have options. So my idea is to, if you bought longer dated options, yes, you are going to be paying a high price. You know, they're up around the 300 at the moment % on the IV, and look, it has just become optional. So it's option. Options are only about 6 weeks old or something like that, so a very short period of time. So look, that IV might continue to drop. The market makers might be just finding a place with it. But the thing is, if you go with options, you then if you went long the stock as well, you do have the convexity of using options for maybe selling some of that theta. So that was another one I liked. I quite liked Hour. Hour looks like it's got a nice setup in it too. We can see that before it's had its last bump, we can see, we've had a bit of a bump here. Here's one that doesn't actually look like it's had any price discovery, and I think it's probably looking like it's still charged. So here again, we're moving into a period which we might see another bump. Look, maybe not for shiny green, but getting there. What else did I like the look of today? Faraday looked, yes. It does look a little bit, there's a bit of selling here, it's a little bit looser, but I think that you have a look at these points when it does bump, that it does tend to rise up for a while. Not certain on this one, but it's still in there, worth having a look. The next one I thought was, that was worth looking at again. It looks like it's very loose here, but you can see in these loose periods that from a loose period, it can drop into quite a tight period quite quickly. So it's worth watching, especially I'm looking out here in the day chart. If you went to 2 hours, it's going to tell you a different story. It's going to tell you it's had a couple of really good charges in there. This here is reactive liquidity, but this not necessarily reactive liquidity. So that's another one. Juma Technologies. Sorry if my pronunciation is not very good. I thought that this pharmaceutical company, Protagonist, just starting to green up again. Yes, this is slightly reactive, but I just think this is tightening more than we're actually seeing price discovery in it. I thought the Kula, where is it? I do apologise, so many things to look in my memes list. I thought this is a very interesting chart. I think it's optional. It has optionality, so go and have a look. I would play that with options. Yeah, it's pretty cheap. You might want to hold a smaller number. You can get these are 500% bumps when they go, but you can see how this tightening has worked going in. It's got a similar sort of tightening happening at the moment. BB is setting up. It's much more setting up in the options world. We can see in the options that it's got really high IV, which means that the market makers are pushing the IV to cover their costs of offering options on it. Down the track, the only other one that I think is interesting, I think this Recursion Pharmaceuticals has had this big drop in price, relative, sort of 20-30% drop in price, 20% drop in price, and it is just bumping along, recharging. At some stage, you could use optionality again on this, go with a leap or something like that. Anyway, those are the ones that I'm watching at the moment. AMD is set up, but it's got quite a way to go. At the moment, there's not a great deal in its options, but it has started to have quite a lot of closed, heavy in the money puts and opening of in the money calls, short dated. So people are thinking it's going to go in the next week or two when we come out of this holding pattern we're in at the moment. Anyway, have a good week's trading. They're the memes that I'm watching. Again, you can find us at MemeStopWatch, or you can find me at nakeddelta.com. But just send me a DM. I'll just leave the details on the bottom of the tweet for this. But again, Meme Stop Watch, you can see us, get us every day, and Naked Delta with our different data sets that we do for watching it. Thank you very much. Cheers. Have a good week.